report. Drake made it back kind of overheated yesterday. He made it back for the walkthrough yesterday afternoon. Other than that, all the injuries remain the same. Pretty good practice yesterday and looking for a great practice tonight here at Seckinger. All excited about the fans.
Ramped up the intensity a little bit yesterday. Kind of what can people expect out here today?
A little more, Tori. So we got, I guess you would call it a low day yesterday, and today is kind of a medium day. So to get the guys ramped up again, to get it going, some of the same stuff you showed yesterday. Yesterday was pretty interesting. We had a lot of mixed downs, first, second, third down. We got into a little bit of red zone, as you can see. We had a bunch of different things going around the field. A couple different situations came up, a bunch of teachable moments. So it was pretty interesting practice, a lot of fun. Got a chance to see the quarterbacks get at it for the first time and some live bullets, and it was some really good throws, some really good defense, some good stuff all around. I was jacked up by yesterday's practice.
That was probably as hard as Kirk has gone since the injury. Did you sense that he felt energized by that?
I don't know, man. I've been feeling his energy kind of like the whole time. I don't know if you guys see me get jacked up by him when he threw the long touchdown pass. And the excitement, that was genuine enthusiasm. And that's like the kind of stuff that's celebrated by us. So, Kurt getting out there, he feels good. He's had a really good summer. Obviously we talked about him all offseason and what he was. And I said, there really was no limitations. I just wanted to get him some stuff in individual drills to make sure he's nice and warmed up and things of that nature. So it was a lot of fun to see. It was exciting. It was a good look. And you look really weird in this hat right now. I've never seen you in a hat.
I'm usually in a hat. I just hadn't found a good one. I got a new one. You like it?
I love it.
Okay.
Coach, you standing out.
Say it again.
Go ahead, Josh.
You gave Kirk a little hip bump after that touchdown pass.
I tried not to. I was
going to say, I wondered if halfway up there you were like,
Josh, I was cautiously approaching Kurt with a really wow on my face about the throw, and then he gave me a hip bump. And, I did legs earlier, so I was a little weak.
What are you seeing from the defense right now, Coach? I mean, some names like James Smith-Williams in there that maybe we didn't expect to see with the first team.
I think at the outside linebacker position in general is kind of like Rolodexing through some of the guys that we can get through, right? AK shows his excitement, Trice shows his excitement, James Smith-Williams shows his excitement. We get a lot of excitement from Carter, and those are like kind of the veteran-esque type of players, so to speak, other than Trice. And then you got some other guys coming that we picked up later in the down, Anai, and all the people that's going. So we got a lot of competition going out there. So when we talked about the pass rush, I've seen a lot of exciting things. I've seen guys getting out there competing against each other, and ultimately with those guys, it won't be decided until we put the pads on. So when the pads get on, that'll be really interesting to see what we can do and see if you can capture those roles. James, throughout his career, has been one heck of a run stopper. And we got other guys, AK, who's projected to be one heck of a pass rusher. So, if you put those guys together and you find ways to really identify their role and see what they can do as opposed to what they can't, I think you find really good players.
Coach, just being out here in front of Seckinger, the fans, I have a lot of opportunities for the fans to see you guys before the preseason games start. What's it like for you and the players to kind of show these fans, the new Falcons, really?
Yeah, Greg Beatles, our president, did a great job. He thought it was very important for us to come up with ways to get us in front of the fans. And we sat down, we put our heads together, Terry and I, and Greg Beatles, and all of us, and she said, hey, let's give them, Friday night lights back. Let's get a chance to get back out there in the field and be at the high school, get a chance to go to the Benz next week. And that's exciting. It's exciting to be around your fans because you want the test for your guys really to tune them out. But at the same time, feel the presence, feel that energy, get all the stuff that we talked about. I forgot who asked me the other day in the press conference, but to get that energy that you love. And like I talked about, we have a bunch of away games, but now this is to be a home game where you got to feel the energy, you got to earn the respect from the people and get ready to go out there and play.
Does it kind of bring you back a little bit, to your high school? I mean, there are high school locker rooms we're getting ready in and things like that, and being back out here.
Allison, I'm really old, so high school was a long time ago, and this high school is so much nicer than the high school that I went to. No, Allison. This brings me back to the rival that I went to that was really good, that we always lost to, that we finally beat in Union, New Jersey, and we beat them my senior year. And it brings me back to that moment, like an away game at that high school, sitting in this end zone, talking smack to my team, saying a lot of things that I can't say on camera to a bunch of young guys, and getting ready to go play a great football game. So all that is so much fun. I mean, all that is so much fun for these guys. I want to see the young team. I hope the football team for Seckinger is out here because Tony does such a great job in our community with us and everything. I was lucky enough to be at a community event when he does for our rookies, and to hear the head coach here talk. And to talk about his team and to talk about his passion for Atlanta. He tried to give me his office. I told him no chance that I'm going to his office and using it for anything other than to say thank you and gratitude to be here.
You characterized yesterday as a low day. I saw a lot of observations of people being impressed by what was characterized as crisp passing and some big plays. Are you impressed by what you've seen from early chemistry between your Passers and receivers.
It's hard to say impressed, right? You know, started off, hey, what's up, Lit? I started off with the low day. If you guys remember, was the jog through, and I kind of liked the format, right? They got a chance to get people fine-tuned. They got a chance to get people back in the mental stage of where you're at, and it really kind of paid off yesterday, right? Went out there, was limited problems, was limited execution problems, had limited penalties. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the beginning of the period, the first period, we had a couple penalties, a couple offsides, a couple things that are just focus issued, and right away, kick that person out of the drill, kick those guys out of the drill, make them sit out. Because the thing that hurts them the most is missing reps. So when they did those things right away, boom, the rest of the practice was limited amount of flags. And that is huge, right? Other than the football type flags, a holding or something there, but it was not concentration based. And that's where you want to make your team go when you bring that kind of awareness to the penalties and things of that nature. So I was really impressed with how we were able to adjust throughout practice, if that makes any sense.
Coach, you talk about the outside linebackers, but the inside linebackers, you know, with all three of those guys there, is that an exciting challenge for you to figure out, or do you feel pretty comfortable in your mind about how you want to use that?
That's an exciting problem for coaches. Finding roles for good players. Oh, woe is me, right? That is something that you really look forward to doing. That's something that you can bring, go through the brain trust with Jimmy Lake and Barrett Ruud, and find ways to get those guys in the grass, find ways to use those roles and those talented players. You know, the three veterans that played a lot of football for you guys last year, we knew about. Getting JD into the mix and watching him move around and do some really cool things. You know, Milo and Mooten going out there, getting a chance to get some action and like really being productive. I mean, you've seen some high-level ball yesterday with some different looks, being able to line up in different spots. And they're part of our pass rush as well, right? We got some pretty unique pass rushers when it comes to Nate, when it comes to some of the guys that we have back there, Ellis and all those guys, but it's exciting. I don't know how else to express that other than being exciting.
Raheem, with Richie, you mentioned when you watched him on film, you reached out and were like, hey, like, I didn't realize that you provided all that you provide.
Richie who? Grant you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
What have you seen from him so far here, and just kind of what impressed you watching him last year?
Not even last year. I'm just going to yesterday first. The most impressive thing yesterday was the detail he put behind his work. I said communication in the back end with Jesse Bates. I seen some high-level pass-offs and things of that nature. But Richie, his ability to move around and potentially go up there in the front and place a little bit of linebacker at that dime position and do some of those type of things, like they're exciting, right? You're talking about an exciting player who brings a bunch of energy. As Jerry Gray would describe him, you hear him before you see him. And he's exciting to be around. And I'm excited to see how far he can grow and what he can do throughout camp and throughout the rest of this deal.
What do you look for in a rookie quarterback like a Michael Penix, and did you see what you wanted to see yesterday?
Execution, his huddle presence. I know you see the nice little helmet cams we got on there, and I know those guys hate it because, you know, who wants to hear themselves on tape? But for the coach to go back and listen to the quarterback, spit the play out, have command of what's going on, you see what he's looking at because you can see the vision on the tape and all those things. Like, that's invaluable. So, like, to see what Michael Penix was on day one, I know it was only day one, but that's impressive to go out there and execute and not have disastrous type plays in the field where you see a coach lose their mind because you're wasting snaps, and we did not feel like that yesterday.
Did you guys use those GoPros in LA?
I don't think so. I think this might be a Jake Strootman thing, man. Like, we got some high-level people here when you're talking about Jake and you're talking about David Bassity and what he does to the community. Like, we got some people here that are high-level thinkers that come up with different ideas and different aspects how we want to move. So I'm really excited about the people I get a chance to work with that I've met to also. Don't want to take all the credit.
Do you let the defense watch those GoPros?
Oh, it's you know,
Or is it just off it?
it's not like they can't click over.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I'm not worried about these guys cheating.
Right.
You know, like, it's high-level ball when you get a chance to be on that side of the ball. Actually, when you go watch the interaction between Kurt and I think through that long pass and him chest bumping me and knocking me off the screen, it's pretty funny. So it's awesome stuff, man.
Well, I was just curious because, like, I imagine that would be able to help these defensive guys.
Just being able to look at a quarterback and kind of see what they're going through in the process, you know, it definitely will help them. So, like, you can definitely look over and see it. I know our coaches look at it. And I know our guys enjoy watching it. Not necessarily the cool quarterback guys, you know, because they live in that world, but everybody else that don't live in that world, like the O-line coach, you know, your running back coach, so they can talk to their guys what they're looking at, what they're saying, how you see it, the visual, the cadence, some of those things. It's high-level ball that I'm very proud of to watch and watch those guys do.
When you first were able to watch the tape of it, is there anything from that perspective that jumped out to you that, like, wow, I wasn't able to see this just watching regular tape?
It's just watching the head. You can see the head move, right? You can see exactly what they're looking at when they're barking through cadences. You can see exactly what's going on. You can hear the huddle call and breaking the huddle and how crisp it is and how the flow happens from Zach Robinson. I mean, really, you're grading your coaches there too, right? You can see the flow from Zach Robinson to your quarterback to the team. Your team break the huddle with great urgency, get to the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden it's a snap. And you can just feel the energy jump off the tape, and that's a lot of fun to watch.
Kirk and Penix are suite mates during training camp in the room. Who decides that type of stuff? Is that you? Is that the...
I don't get involved in that. You know, like Brandon Roof's in charge of most of that stuff, and I'm sure Scar found his way in there somehow. But like, I don't get involved with the buddy system. I trust my guys to do their work. Like Joey, he manages who sits by each other in the locker room when you guys get a chance to go in there, and some of those things. I told him make it a team, let everybody be around each other, and do different things. But like, yeah, I definitely didn't get involved in that one. Make him sleep. I don't need Penix to learn how Kirk sleeps right now. You can tell him.
Apparently they go to sleep at the same time, according to Kyle Pitts, 9:30 p.m.
I'm sure those guys go to sleep pretty early. Like, you know, we're so performance conscious right now with our athletes. There's a lot of really good things going on as far as performance based when it comes to sleep, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to eating, and just moving accordingly through the building and how you get ready for the next day. It is nice for them to get a long break off since that first practice to get ready to get into this one, then come back with a jog during the day off. Like, the guys are really embracing the schedule.
It's good to have Mike within the same room, though, right? A little osmosis.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, it's good to have. It'd be good to have anybody on the team with Kurt. I mean, you're talking about the ultimate pro, but you know, when you're talking about your quarterback, your heir apparent, for sure, he's certainly going to get a lot of stuff off him. Go ahead and get it out. You've been so patient.
No, Kirk mentioned that he had 7 or 8 different snap counts. Did he mean cadences by that?
Yeah, it's all the stuff that you mean, all the stuff that you would think about from a weird quarterback perspective. He has all kind of stuff, and he gets in front of the room. He's able to bark those things out, and you feel the echo of his voice, and you can feel the command in the room. And when he does that, it's an impressive meeting that he runs when he's able to do that type of stuff. So,
in your experience, is that a lot for this time of camp, or is that about typical to have kind of like 7 or 8 different maybe cadences when you get up to the line of scrimmage?
I would say for the first day of camp, it was impressive, right? I don't know how many offsides we had yesterday, maybe 2. You know, I got it on this piece of paper, my paper, and I was able to take out the few examples that I needed, but that's impressive. Even for the rookie to be able to do some of this stuff and mimic some of that stuff, it's like high-level ball. So I was excited about that.
And did you feel like the rest of the offense was right there with him on that? There weren't, you know, any...
When you only have 2 offsides, and, you know, on offense, I remember the whole O-line jump once, and we had a receiver flinch once, and the other ones were on defense. Is what you're looking for to gain the edge. You're pretty excited about that.